Hello everyone. Welcome back to my craft room. My name's Whitney Lucas. I'm with Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots, and today I'm doing a lantern swag or a lantern topper or whatever you guys want to call it. So I'll just wait a few seconds, let you guys kind of filter in a little bit. I'll get my tablet set up over here so I can watch all you guys, see the comments that come through. So how's everyone doing today? Hi Juanita, thanks for joining me. Just pulling up some stuff over here on the right. Make sure I got my Facebook Live up, and then we will get started. Hi Vicky, thanks for joining me today, guys. Hi Connie, yes, nice to see you too. Thanks for joining. All right guys, we are going to get started. Today's lantern swag or lantern topper, or however you spin it, however you want to spin it, I guess. It's really simple, really quick and easy, and it actually makes your lanterns look so much better. It just gives that extra little pop to them, and they're very interchangeable, easy to store, easy to ship. They're really good gifts, and you guys are gonna like these. I had made a few, maybe a couple years, no, last year and the year before, after watching a tutorial from Julie Samaka with Southern Charm Wreaths. She has her tutorial up on YouTube. So again, thank you guys if you're watching me live here on Facebook, and then I guess you can always catch the playback on YouTube. I appreciate all you guys' support. I already see the hearts and the likes coming through. I appreciate that. Thanks so much, guys. Hi, Pam. Hi, everyone. Hi, Carmen. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It's so nice. So today, basically, the lantern swag, lantern topper is very easy to do. And it's also really cute for any season. You can do them for Halloween, Christmas, but I particularly love them for spring and Easter. They make things just super cute and festive, really fresh and airy. You can put one of these just right in the center of your table. You don't even have to put anything else. You can put a lantern in there at the center of your table. So this is basically the premise of what we're doing today. Here's a small one I've already made last year. This is for Easter, but this is just your average size lantern. You can get this. I got this lantern at a place here in Las Vegas called Home Goods. I got this lantern and then that guy right there, if you can see him there. I got them both at Home Goods. I like to pick out kind of different type lanterns. I don't like the real thin metally ones. So basically, if I don't have anything to put in them, I just put little raffia in there so there's something for your eyes to look at. Otherwise, LED candles, guys. LED candles. Never put a burning candle in one of these guys, okay? Burn your house down. Don't do that. That's bad. So basically, it's just got raffia in it. And then what this is this one was made for Easter. You see here, I've got some Easter egg here, some more eggs up here in this part, and then down here, mixed in with some flowers. I've got burlap in here, and then 3 different kinds of ribbon. This is a smaller one. Today we're going to do a much larger one, and I'll show you. So this is my average size lantern, and then these things just tie on. There's the back. I like to make the back look a little interesting so you're not staring at just a ribbon, but you basically just tie them on. You see here. And then you pull this, you know, just like tying your shoelaces, you pull it and you tie it, it comes right off. So there's your premise of it. But instead of making a regular size one today for this lantern, we're going to cover this guy. This is my big guy. I like him. I believe I got this one at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby has a lantern aisle. If you guys are familiar with going to Hobby Lobby, they have a whole aisle dedicated to lanterns, and it is exciting to walk up and down. It's over by baskets, usually in the basket area, and then candles, at least in the Hobby Lobbies here in my city. All of them are laid out the same. There is an aisle only of lanterns, and there's huge ones, which you guys, I have a huge one. It's probably about maybe 2.5, 3 feet tall. Yeah, she was a beaut. She's turquoise. They still sell it. And, of course, that was like a $70-some lantern, but I used my 40% off on it, so I got a good discount. Otherwise, wait until the lanterns go 50% off, guys, and then buy your lanterns. If you notice the theme here, all my lanterns are wooden on the bottom and metal on the top. I think the wooden ones give you a better base. It's it's more stable at the bottom. Some of those thinner metal or aluminum ones, they tend to get a little top heavy. But it also depends on how you're making your swag to begin with. So basically, this is what we're doing today. So we're going to be making a little bit bigger of a piece than this one that I've made previously, okay? So here's where I'm going to do. I'm going to put this off to the side so we can look at her in the background. And then I'm going to set this guy off to the right because we're going to need to kind of, every once in a while, stop what we're doing and kind of see how things are going, because you don't want your lantern to go too far down to hit the tabletop. You don't want it to come too far up to be too huge of a piece. So we're going to need to keep the lantern that you're working on close to you so you can kind of gauge it for what you really want. Or, you know, you want to gauge what you're putting on it to see how big your piece is becoming as you're making it. So I'm just going to stick this guy up over here out of the way a little bit. And then I'm going to pan down here. And let's see. Hi Debbie. Hi Bay. Hi Letty. Pam. Hi guys. Thanks so much for joining. Yes, Debbie, it's good to see you again too. So I'm going to push this guy down here so you guys can see more of my workstation. And I'm going to show you what I got. All of these flowers here, this is all Hobby Lobby. Sorry, take that back. What I originally bought for the project was all Hobby Lobby. You don't need very many flowers. You don't need very much to work with. It's a very, I'm not going to say simple piece, but it's not many supplies are needed. It just depends on how much you want to get, you know, how much full and coverage you want. Now, we're not going to use all of these flowers, you guys. It's way too much. But variety is key here. We're probably going to use everything in this bundle. This bundle's from Hobby Lobby. I got this on their regular floral aisle. This isn't a, I don't believe that this is a seasonal item, but I did get it during their 50% off. So all my flowers here were 50% off at Hobby Lobby. And then what I put off to the side here, guys, are these leftover tulips. Remember my my tulip addiction from Micheals? These are the leftover Micheals tulips I'd made a wreath, purple and greens, which it's still available on Etsy, guys. Share this video, share my page. Again, you guys got to help me get to that Wreath Makers Live in June. So see if there's anybody's interested. This gal right here that I made with these colors is still available on Etsy. So these are a little bit left over. If you can see here, I've got some I cut off, but I'm going to probably incorporate just a few of these tulips because they're purple. I don't have any green in there, so I might shove a little bit of green. Who knows? A little bit of light purple. So these are just leftover from a previous project. Remember that, guys. If you've got leftovers, you always have a way to repurpose them. You always have a way to just like cut your stash and get rid of everything if it's, you know, taking up room or it's bugging you. Who knows? So basically, this was it's a variegated bush from Hobby Lobby. These are the best thing, in my opinion, to use for lantern swags. I had previously made this yellow one here with one of those little bouquet bundles that you can get at Micheals, and that was when their spring and summer went on sale for like 50-60% off. I grabbed a yellow and a purple one. I still have another one in my stash to make from, but I wanted to make something a little bit different I needed some bigger flowers because we're doing a bigger lantern. So again, these little bundles that have everything mixed together are really good to basically be your base for these lantern swags. So if you see a little bundle somewhere that you like, snatch it up. This one was only $6.99, but again, I got it for 50% off, so I paid $3.50 for this whole thing. So this is actually going to go very far because I'm going to use this entire bundle, and I'll show you guys how we do that. The rest of these little bundles I bought at Hobby Lobby are just as accents. We're just going to add these things in here and there just to add, you know, a little bit of variety and variegation. And I pulled everything out of this particular one. This is your first bundle. This is what you want to stick with. So carry this around with you while you pick out your other items. Make sure the colors look good and they complement each other if you're wanting to pull more colors out of it. So I found this next little purple guy here, and it's basically a little bit of purple and light purple, and that light purple almost kind of lends towards pink or fuchsia to me, but it works for this situation. So I'm holding it up together. And again, I have lights on in here, you guys, but I also have some ceiling fan lights, so I'm not sure if the lighting's really making these look as pretty as they really are. But you guys know I got new studio lights, so you're going to see some pretty pictures at the end of this. So just stay tuned, and you will see the pictures at the end. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see them at the end of this video. If you're watching me right now live on Facebook, I will have them posted afterwards because I'll go out there, I'll take some pictures. so you can see just how bright and vibrant these colors are. And this lends more on the softer pink lilac-y side. Not pink, but like light lavender and lilac colors. So that's going to pull some more of the light purple out. So far I've got some dark, rich, a little bit of light color. And then I needed to add just a tiny bit of white in there. So even if we just take these off here and there, do you see how tiny I can pull? I can pull this piece off by itself. And we'll just place little accents in there. Again, all of these were 50% off at Hobby Lobby. So all the flowers I'd originally had in mind were purchased at Hobby Lobby, and we weren't breaking the bank on this totally. Now my leftover tulips are also going to be as an accent. I don't plan on using too many of them. You guys will see how we cut that apart. And then since this is a bigger lantern swag, we've got some bigger ribbon options. On that per lantern right here I showed you guys earlier, those were basically... it's one little, that was one strip of burlap that's about 4 inches wide, and I just kind of looped it around. But that became part of the focal piece in that one. All the ribbon itself was 1.5 inch wide, which is this size. But this is a bigger lantern, and I'm not going to be using burlap. So I grabbed 2 of my 2.5 inch spools of ribbon. This guy I purchased on craftoutlet.com probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I have never used it, guys. So I'm a little excited to throw this little purple guy in there. It's kind of a canvasy ribbon. It's double-sided, so it's not going to be like anything crazy to try to do it twisting. It's very canvasy. It's very pretty, kind of rusticy. And then you guys have seen this one. I used this one on my Valentine's wreath. This one's a very springy purple. Actually, I think this one was bought at Sam's Club a couple years ago when they brought their spring stuff out. But this is just 2.5 inch wide purple white polka dots. And then these two guys, this is an old Celebrated. So this is an old Micheals buy. It's wired. All of these are wired. Sorry, all of them are wired, but this one. This guy's also craftoutlet.com. Oh, I'm sorry. Take that back. Scratch, you guys. It's Paper Mart. This is an old Paper Mart. This is one of the ones I bought by mistake that doesn't have wire in it. But that's okay, because I'm going to show you guys the loops are small enough they'll stick up on their own. Because I bought this in every color they had. That's also, I have yellow of this exact same ribbon in that one. The loops are small enough they'll stand up on their own. It's not to worry. So this was a mistake, but it turned out to be okay, because this purple is very, it's like there's grape in it. It's got a little bit of blue, but it's going to lend a good hand to what we're doing on it. So there's my ribbon options. So what we're going to do is actually construct the actual piece first, and then we make the bow second. And what I forgot to do, guys, is I'm looking right over here at my zip ties. We're not going to be using any, geez, what's the word? Oh, sorry, just saw this. There's a little pick here I got at Micheals a couple years ago. I dug this out of my Easter bin just a minute ago. I may or may not use that in the bow. We'll see how it goes. But I'm looking at my zip ties. I need to go grab them because I can't reach them. The thing is, we're not going to be using any pipe cleaners today. Just all zip ties and some floral tape. And then I've got my bin right here that's full of greenery and leaves that I save because we're going to need to be gluing some of that onto the back of them. I'll show you. I'm going to take this one off the lantern right here. Now this is a smaller piece that I made before, but I want to show you guys here. You just untie them. So I'm just basically untying this from the top. And then this is your lantern swag. It's a tiny little piece. It's not, for this lantern, it's small. You see it's smaller. But it's a tiny piece that basically lends floral coming down, coming up, and you have a bow and a focal point in the middle. And if I turn around and I show you the back of it, here's where I tied on the securing ribbon here. But then I also covered the back so that you can't see any of the mechanics. You don't want to see all of the zip ties and the floral tape, and if there was pipe cleaners or however you make your bows, you don't want to really see that, because there is always that option or that chance that when you're looking at the lantern from a different direction or angle, if it's on your table or a centerpiece somewhere, there's always that chance you might be able to see through it, or someone could see through it, and that's just nasty. We don't want to see the back of that. So I've basically covered it up with all kinds of leaves here you can't see. And then because the top of it still shows, I just stuck this little flower back here to kind of cover up, again, more of the behind the scenes back there that you don't want anyone to see. So that's basically the premise of what we're doing. And then we're just going to tie it right back on. So I'm going to get it placed where I want it. And then you grab your tying pieces here and you tie it around the top You just tie it around the top of your lantern. There you go. And your bow is not, it's not important. Now this is non-wired ribbon here, but again, it doesn't matter if you've got wired ribbon that you're using to tie it on with. It's just basically tied on around the top of the lantern. You could tie it down here too if you want. I particularly made this one to go at the top of a lantern. Basically, they're universal for every lantern. And actually, you guys look, I tied it to the front. This is where the door is. So if you just adjust it, switch it over. So there's your lantern topper, lantern swag, whatever you want to call it. So let me take a look at what you guys have to say and we'll get started. Ollie. Yes, it does. It's very easy. Good idea to change out for the seasons. Hi, Jeannie from Boulder City. So glad to find you online as well. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Susan and Pamela, Bay, Nancy. Thanks, guys. So happy to see all you guys with me here on this Sunday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in 5 seconds, guys. I got to grab my zip ties. I'm staring right at them, but they're just not close enough. Be 1 sec. Okay, so you guys have seen this before. This is my little variety pack that I got at Lowe's, department store, or any hardware. I would say department store. Any hardware store, you can get this big old variety thing of zip ties. And this came with 4, 8, and 11-inch zip ties. And then, of course, I already had some that I bought previously, so I stuck that bag in here too. But these are basically universal zip ties that I use for a lot of different projects. And for lantern swags, you're getting a very secure fit with a zip tie. So I don't use the normal pipe cleaner or chenille stem for the bow. I use a zip tie pretty much for everything. There may be an instance where I'm going to grab a chenille stem. We'll see how it goes. But basically, guys, you just need hot glue, flowers, ribbon, and zip ties. So we'll see how it goes. So here right now I'm grabbing these guys, and these I believe are the 8-inch. Yeah, so I'm grabbing the 8-inch ones. I don't believe I'm going to need the bigger 11-inch ones, even though this is going to be a bigger swag. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to be needing these 8-inch ones. So we'll see how it goes, but I got them close by, so it shouldn't be an issue. All right, guys, so what we do to get started. Hello from Carolina, Whitney. Hi, Ola. Good to see you. Hi, Sylvia. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Lita. Yes, thanks for joining me. Yes, you're not late. You're not late to the party, Lita. We're just getting started. So I'll put this here. I'm going to get my clippers out. You need your wire cutters, and we're going to just start. The main bundle that we're going to cut apart here is what we're going to use. I'm going to use all of the flowers in this bundle. So let me cut the tag off here. And then I'm going to clip all of these off. And these Hobby Lobby tags, you guys, does anybody else hate them as much as I do? Oh my gosh. You know, the Micheals ones are kind of annoying too, but these Hobby Lobby ones, they just stick on so well. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I bought it from you. I don't want to be constantly reminded after. Come on, guys, come on. There we go. I won. All right, so got that tag off, and so right now I'm just going to leave these stems all pretty long. Okay, so I'm pushing up. What I'm doing is I'm taking the greenery and I'm just pushing it up kind of closer to the flower bud on each one. Be careful not to push it too far because you'll just pull it straight off. The flower will fly off with it. If that happens, no problem. Just glue it all back on. It'll stay on. Most of these won't fall apart in my experience. I've only had to glue like really cheapy ones that I buy somewhere if they fall apart too easily. So I've already pulled all that up. So now I'm leaving them all pretty long and I'm just cutting the stems off at the base of the piece here. So here's my piece, my handle, and I'm just going to cut them all off here because for right now I want to make sure I keep all the length on these because I don't know how long I need them for the placement as I start making this guy. And I know I want to use all of these here. So This isn't really good for much. You can maybe use it to stir your glue if you want. I already have that, so I'm chucking that, just going in the trash. So here I'm gonna kind of separate out my bigger flowers here. I've got exactly 4 of these large purple daisies, right? And then I'm going to make sure, like, I know I want the top of it to be a little bit smaller and the bottom to come down, maybe be fuller. Really depends. This is a really large lantern here, guys, so I may end up doing the opposite and just making it kind of equal. We'll see how it goes as we make it. So what I'm going to do here is, these may not be long enough, so what I'm going to do is going to keep them in little bundles here. So I'm going to grab some of these little 4-inch, little tiny 4-inch zip ties, and we'll see how we construct. I'm going to just pull off a few pieces of each of these other bundles that I have. Very few pieces, so maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of each. I'm not cutting up the whole bush because that's not our intention. These are accent flowers. These were just to lend a little support to the main guy here. So I'm going to cut 4 of those off of this longer purple one here. These are definitely going to be for length. And since this is made of a little bit different construction, you guys, this is like the papery stuff, and then this is like that foamy stuff. These fall apart really easy, I've found. Hi, Darlene. Hi, Roseanne. Allie, yeah, we should make the store staff remove the tags before we leave the store. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they would probably say no, because, I mean, I know I don't like doing it, so there's no way I'm going to... Let's see, these I'm probably going to use more for length to hang down at the bottom of the piece, but let's just cut all of these things off here to start. Just to get some supplies sitting on the table in front of you. And sometimes if you already have them cut, I find that if I get a little stuck on something, or I'm thinking, like I come to like a creator's block, or however you want to say it, I find that having all these extra little pieces laying on the table here really helps me to, you know, get the creativeness going, to get the ideas to just form. So I like to look at just a table full of all kinds of flowery goodness, because you guys know I'm obsessed with flowers for some reason. And since I live out here in the desert, you guys know, not many things grow out here, especially, well, at least the stuff that I like. Nothing grows out here that I like. I love hydrangea. That's like my favorite flower. But I also know that the climate that those grow in is probably not somewhere, I don't know if I could deal with that kind of humidity, guys. I always end up talking about weather somehow, don't I? It's probably because it's related to flowers. How are you guys all doing today? Bonnie, biggest hugs to you too. Thanks. And Jeannie, I'm glad that you like purple. I like purple too. I think my favorite color lends more to green. But again, it's because I live in the desert and I don't have much green out here. So I think my favorite color is green, but I always go to pink and purple after that. You know, all the girly stuff, all that girly stuff. Sorry guys, my allergies are getting to me again. Let me read your comments here. Carrie, hi, how you doing? Okay guys, so now I've got a nice little, oh sorry, let's get some tulips cut up here. Let me see. Now, with these Micheals tulips, I was noticing while I was making those wreaths, you guys saw me make? I was noticing that these things kind of pop off a little bit easy, you know, too easy for my taste. So I go through and I started gluing them all on. Do you know how tedious that is? Man. It was so tedious, almost mind-numbingly, kind of took the fun out of it, kind of tedious, but again, it still had a very pretty ending to everything. So just remember, if you're not getting a good quality flower, you're going to have to take some extra steps. I didn't realize how easy these tulips came off of the piece until I started making more of those tulip wreaths. Made the pink one with you guys here on a Facebook Live. So you guys can see that on my YouTube page if you want to watch the playback if you didn't catch it. I made a big pink tulip wreath like this with these tulips from Micheals. But then I started to make more. I made probably 5 or 6 more. And man, these tulips come off the stem so easy. And that's sort of sort of defeating, because, you know, the purpose of the wreath is to be pretty and you want a good quality, but if every time you're picking it up something falls off, that's no fun. All right, so I got a good pile going here. I got a little bit of variety of everything. Oh, Kathy, you made 2 pink ones after you watched my tutorial? That's so great. I'm so happy you were able to get what you needed. That's so cool. I'm very happy that you guys are making stuff after watching me. It makes me feel good. It does. It's really good. Because I know I've done that. I watch other people and then I get inspired and then I get ideas or little tricks and tips and things I didn't know. And then I'm able to apply it in my craft room on my projects. So if I'm doing that for you guys, that's just so dang awesome. That's so awesome. All right, Sylvia, I don't have lanterns, but I do have bird cages. Yes, Sylvia, that's a great idea. Bird cages, I didn't even think about that. Micheals has some really cute bird cages out right now. I was there the other day. They have very cute, there's tall ones, short ones, but yes, thank you, Sylvia, who's got great ideas. That is so cool. Roseanne, you like the color combo? Yes, I do too. Purple, white, and I'm going to put a little bit of green in there because just have to put a little bit of Whitney in, and I got to have that green in there. Let's see, Yolanda, glad I caught you live. Just made it home from church. Well, thanks. I'm glad you're here too. Glad you're here too. Okay, guys. So to get started, we're going to just hold everything. Believe it or not, that's just how this is going to go. So you're going to take your bigger piece and you're going to start holding them in your hands. And what we're going to do is, if you need to make sure you have your inspiration closer to you, by all means, let me move this out of the way. Pull your lantern closer, okay? If it helps you, keep your lantern right up in your face. That's fine. It's a-okay. That's how it's going to work. So what I'm doing is I'm building the bottom. So it'll hang this way. It'll hang down on the lantern like this. This is how I work first. And then basically you're going to do the same premise for the top. So you're going to be having flowers this way and this way. So pick whichever side you're holding, if this is your bottom or this is your top, however's comfortable for you. So what I'm doing now is I'm making the bottom first, so I'm holding it upright, but eventually it's going to come down like this. If that makes sense, guys. Oh, Vicky, you made a purple, yellow, and white one after watching me. Thank you. Oh, that's so awesome. Thanks so much. I appreciate that so much, guys. That's so cool. Send me pictures. Send me pictures, guys. I love it. I love seeing the stuff you make. Okay, so all I did was I'm grabbing my larger flowers here, and I want to keep the base. I want the base to be bigger on this one. I want the presents to be more in the bow, and then coming down towards the bottom of the piece here. So these pieces are longer, and they're going to go towards the back. If you can see how I'm building this here. So here are my shorter pieces, which are just these purple daisies that we pulled out of that bundle, right? So there's these purple daisies here. And you can bend them each way to get them to move where you want. The easiest way to do that is after you zip tie, because you have a really good secure piece of it. You have that zip tie secured so well, you don't have to worry about it. So I think because you guys, I haven't made one this size before. I usually make them that size over there. We're going to need a little bit of help on here. So I'm going to grab one of my old used stems. These are floral stems that come like from, you can buy a large stem. It's a hydrangea or something like that. I'm going to use one of these as my base to hold things, but I'm going to cut it down. I'll show you. Let's see. I'm going to guess that I probably only need maybe 12 inches. Yeah, I'm going to keep it at 12 inches, guys. So let me put this back down, and I'm going to show you here. We're going to kind of do this together as I go because, again, I haven't made one this size yet. So we'll learn a little bit together. You guys keep that piece. You'll never know when it comes in handy. These are really good sturdy pieces. So here I have 12 inches of a used stem, probably from a hydrangea flower that I used to make like that guy right there. See that guy right there? Those little hydrangea hanging door hangers. So I got a 12-inch piece here. So I'm going to use this to give me a little bit more length. So here I am. I'm going to pull these guys back together. I'm going to add this to my hand here where I'm holding everything together. So you see here I'm holding all my stems and I'm holding this longer piece here. And we're going to use this guy Also, once we place this on here, we're going to take this and we're going to bend it more like this. We're going to give it the curve that it needs to stay on this piece. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Otherwise, I might have just a little bit too much going on here. I may have a little bit too much going on here to just hold them individually. If you do a smaller lantern topper, you don't need this piece, and you can literally just hold all the pieces together. So let me just add some more length to this guy here. And remember, I cut everything off the bushes as long as I could leave them from the base. But that doesn't mean you're going to have to leave all of your pieces that long. I'm just adding these on. If you see here, I'm just adding pieces to the back and I'm holding them with my fingers, adding pieces and holding them. I had one piece that was really, here we go. I cut this piece off just in one stem. That's actually pretty, if you see on my shirt here, it's just one piece I cut off of that whole bundle that I actually like how it kind of spreads out. So I'm going to lend that one to the back. Actually just drop this piece here. And so far, this is what we're working with for the bottom. So you can kind of see things start to come together as you're holding them. And then you can add, like here's a little hydrangea I'm going to add in right here at the base. Put that in there. I got a little white flower here. Don't forget your other flowers. You're just going to add them in. If you can get them pushed in, and then you can feel them being placed in your, like I can feel this one right here on my thumb here. So I'm just going to push that down further in there. And all the while, I'm going to bend this way because I don't want too many things to kind of drown out these purple flowers, right? So you can kind of start bending your stuff towards your hand if you want. And I think I'm probably going to stick with that. Now, we're not finished with it, but I'm getting a larger amount in my hand here that I'm having trouble holding. So I'm just going to take my zip tie at the moment. I'm going to get it around as much as I can at this base here of the stuff I've already added. And then what we've done here is we've created a base, you guys. Hold on, I was like, I don't want to use my teeth on camera, but there we go. I'm just pulling it, and I'm pulling this zip tie super tight here. And I can see that I only have the edge of a few of these pieces here, but now I'm able to let go. So now my hands, whew, yeah, that was a little hard, you guys. That was a little hard on my hands. But got that piece done. So now going forward, if you look here, now remember this extra stem is now serving as my holder. It's not, you know, it's not detrimental, and you can always cut more off of it if you find out later that you have too much here. That's never a problem. Let's see, Jeannie, no, I don't work in a flower shop, but that would be absolutely awesome. I've been looking to see if there are other floral jobs available, part-time or even apprentice or intern or whatever you call it. I was like, hey, you guys, I'll change your garbages. You need your trash changed just so I could get in there. But I would love to work in a flower shop. There's a couple here by my house that actually have artificial arrangements on their websites. So maybe I'd be good at that while I learn the fresh side. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of the application is the same. I'm pretty sure, but I would love any opportunity to do that, but that would be awesome. Again, I'm obsessed with flowers, so I don't see that as I don't see that as work. I see that as fun. So let's see. All right, guys, there's my base, and I'm going to start. Let's see. I grab these tulips here, and I want to add a little bit more expanse to it, because I mean this is what we're working with so far. And this is all wired, guys. So after you place it in there, don't forget that you can bend this any which way you choose. There's no right or wrong way. And you also don't forget that once your piece is on, you got left, right, not necessarily back, but you've got left and right, the whole area to pan around. You need to make sure everything looks okay from each side as you're making it. So I'm going to cut this piece off here off this zip tie. And what we're going to do is basically the same thing, just in stages. So we added this guy on And all I did was I twisted this sharp piece going up because we're going to cover this whole thing in floral tape once we're done. So now I only have, I have a smaller amount of flowers. I used the majority of those purple daisies for the bottom. And so now we're going to start working on the top of it. Okay, you see what we're doing here. Trying to see how I want this to tie on. I want to tie it up to this piece here. So you guys, I'm probably going to end up cutting off probably maybe another 3 or 4 inches off the top of here. But what I want to do is basically the gap that I'm holding for this new piece, this gap here, this is where your bow is going to go. So if your bow isn't going to be huge, which, I mean, our bow is going to be pretty big, but we're going to want just a little bit of space, not a lot. So I cut another 5 inches off of that. So the whole piece itself is 7 inches long. So I started with a 12-inch piece, and now I have a 7-inch stem. And what we're going to do here is I can see that things are starting to move around a little bit here. I'm going to just put a little bit of hot glue right here on all these stems. And we're going to have to wait for that to dry, guys. We're going to have to wait for that to cool off. Do you see that? I just added a tiny a little bit amount of glue right on there to make that. So we're going to have to let that set for a little bit. As I call it, I'm going to go play. Yeah, that's not work, it's play. I'm going to go play. Wisteria. No, I don't know that I have. I'm sure it's pretty. I just go and I'll pick out what's available in the stores. So if it's wisteria, sure, I have no problem with it. I think it's gorgeous. Marla, they'd be lucky to have you because your stuff turns out beautiful. Thank you, Marla. I appreciate that so much. It's so nice. Roseanne, you have an eye for design. Plus, it's not work. It's play. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Roseanne. I would love to work. I would love to work in there. Thank you for the compliment. I think we're done, you guys. I was looking to see if it's tacky, and it's done. Okay, so. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Frankie. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining me. So now we're going to start working on the top part. If you see here, it's easier to work with like your hand in the middle. So, you know, basically, let's see, I just want to make sure that that's dry. It's actually still very tacky, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer. I'm just going to use my thumb. So here is my main flower that I'm going to have coming up towards the top. And this is where things can twist around a little bit. So you always have to make sure this is the front. So I need to make sure I'm pushing things towards the front the same way. So all I'm doing is doing the same thing. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to set this down, and I'm just going to work in my hand for a second. Because sometimes I think, for me, that's a little bit easier. So these are the leftover bushes. Okay, so this is all I have left from the original main variegated, the bundle that we bought specifically for this piece. This is all I have left. So I know I want all of these in there. Okay. A little bit of white flowers here. And here's where some of these larger ones are going to come into play. I'm going to grab a couple tulips, put that over here. Remember, we're not done with this. The bundle was getting a little bit too hard to hold. So I'm going to add more in a minute. I'm going to get a little bit of green over here. I'm going to get this guy going right here in the back. And maybe this guy kind of up at the top. I'm going to put this one right here in front. I like this little piece. That's how it came. It has this little extra long piece that comes off of it, and I love the way that looks. I think it's kind of crazy. Just like me. Just a little crazy. A little crafty and crazy. So here's my little bit of height. I don't want to put too much on there. And again, you're basically making a small arrangement, but in your hand. And remember, this is going to be showing on the back too, so we're going to put a flower up here because this is where we're going to be tying it onto the top. So basically, I'm just holding all these goodies together. Now, it looks just as big as the bottom, you guys, so I'm going to need to add to the bottom. So there's me and my adding and adding and adding kind of thing. So there's the top piece, right? So I'm holding all of this stuff the same way. You're going to pick up your bottom piece and hold those all together like that there. Come back to your zip tie. Oh, 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 see that? I'm losing it. I'm losing it, you guys. I'm losing it. I think I turned the heat up in my house a little bit too hot because I'm sweating and my hands are getting sweaty. That or it's just the excitement. Could be both, yo. Could be both. And again, if nobody's watching you, you lose your teeth right there, but since I got all you guys watching me, I'm not going to use my teeth. And you just pull, pull, pull. I got everything in here. Pull it tight as it'll possibly go, guys. Do not worry about bending it because you want it to be secure. All right, so if we're looking at our piece here, now it's here where I can make my adjustments. I can do a little bit of twisting this way to get it the same as here. And this is what you're working with. It kind of looks like a, it's like a baton. You guys ever, you know about batons? Like I used to twirl baton in elementary school. My sister did it, baton twirling. It's like a floral baton. You guys know what I'm saying? It has the two ends, almost like, or you could say it's a floral barbell. You know, be a little cheesy on that. So there's your top and your bottom. Now I'm looking at this right now and it looks the same. This has a little bit more length, so I did fluff up the top a little bit more than I planned on it, but you know what? There are no mistakes in floral. I just don't think there can ever be too many flowers. I really don't. There's always a way to make it extra beautiful. So you guys see, this is the premise here. Here's our lantern. And this is what we have so far. You've got a nice bunch coming up the bottom, a little bit coming up off the top. And again, we're going to bend this in the middle, you guys. We're going to bend it in the middle. And once it gets tied on here, this will curl down more towards where you want it to go on your lantern. So I'm not finished adding florals though, of course, because that's just how I do it. And then also, once we get the bow on here, the bow will give us more surface area to glue things into. You guys know I love to throw things. I like to put extra little goodies in the bows, and I use the bow to glue on leaves and ribbons and little berries and all kinds of stuff, which I'm very confident right now I'm going to use this little pick of pearlescent. They're like pearlescent lavender berries. I got them some time ago for I just now noticed I have a little extra. I got extra tulips over here from something I'd already cut. They're little berries I got from Easter a couple years ago. So I got two longer ones here and two lavenders and one green. So we're gonna make this. We're just gonna make this thing so grand. Let's see how we're gonna add these to the sides. So remember, everything we're doing, you're just going to add on to your original piece here. So I'm going to hold these, and that's where you're going to use more zip ties. And again, the base and this middle piece is not going to look very pretty, guys. It's going to be wrapped in floral tape, and then we're going to cover it with the bow and with leaves. So nothing is going to show to the point where it's going to look so horrid, you know, like it's really, really gaudy or what's the word? It's got too much in it, because I really think that a lantern swag is meant to be just a little full. It's supposed to make you really want to spring to show up, make you want to go outside and pick some flowers or just smell them here. I mean, could you imagine if we could do these with real flowers and how long it would last? It would be so gorgeous. I love putting lanterns on my dining room table. And the lantern swag helps out so much with whatever holiday or whatever, you know, festive springtime or whatever theme I'm going with. Lantern swags are awesome, and they're actually really quick, you guys. Whew. All right, guys, it is really hot in here. I'm gonna run real fast to turn my air down. I'm so sorry, you guys. 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll just be right back. Okay. All right, guys. Had to do that. I was dying. I'm okay. Let's see what else you guys have to say already. Letty is so beautiful so far. Thank you so much, guys. Carolyn. Hi from Myrtle. Thanks. Mississippi, MS. Pooja says, wow. Come on, Brittany. You have to use... Oh, yeah. My name's... Yeah, Brittany. That's cute. Brittany, Whitney, same thing. Who cares? You're close. I can use my teeth. Yeah, I know, Lori. I'm with friends, right? You guys are friends. I shouldn't have to worry about that. Oh, it's rainy in Central Florida. You know what, Jan? I love the rain. Oh. Again, I live somewhere where I don't ever get it. So, excuse me, guys. Ice water. I turned the heat up because it was freezing in here when I went and set everything up. And now with the lights and I shut the door, no way, man. It's too hot. It's too hot for this girl. So I had to go turn that air down. Or sorry, the heat. Had to turn the heat down. Way too hot for me. But it's really windy, I guess. My husband went out today. He's out getting his hair cut and all that. And he was texting me. He said it was really windy. So let's see. Do I want to put a little bit more greenery in here, guys? Or do I just want to keep more purple? And now we're going to have purple overload. I think I'm going to save these green tulips. I'm going to put a couple in the bow. Because we've got purple overload with all this ribbon on this bow right here. So I'm going to see right here. I'm going to pretend I'm done. And I'm going to bend some things down towards me. Bend some things out to the left and the right. Because now that we have a base, we have a really good base going, we can use the pieces we have here to start adding things into the arrangement. And that's basically what this is. It's a handheld arrangement, technically. It's basically exactly what it is. It's a handheld arrangement. So start bending things a little bit left, right, up, down. Get things kind of situated. And again, you can constantly do this, especially after storage. You may come across an issue with, you know, some of these longer pieces kind of got a little messed up while it was, you know, waiting for the next season to come around. That should never be a problem. You'll be okay. I think I'm going to add a little bit more coming up here in this side. But this guy here... holding it up to the lantern, seeing how I like it. I think I have a pretty good solid foundation. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to save these little pieces I've already cut, and we're going to add to this, but after we're going to add to it to the point where we're not adding to anywhere that we need to put a zip tie on. So here's where I'm going to start putting a little bit of I'm going to secure just a little bit of stuff here. So if you see any spaces or you're looking at anywhere where your stems kind of come together, throw some hot glue around it. You can hot glue over the zip tie here too. That adds security to the piece. And remember, all of this is going to get covered up. So nobody's going to see the mechanics. No one's going to see the behind the scenes. No one's going to see how icky things look. If you guys can see there, I basically put glue all around that guy there. And I'm letting gravity kind of push it down into the seams. I'm letting gravity kind of do some of that work for me. You guys take a look at that. And then we're going to let that sit. So this is a different kind of hot glue. It came with this hot glue gun that I got on Amazon. It's a CBiz glue gun. This is a pretty awesome glue gun. So I'm like only have a couple sticks left. And the sticks look like this. And I normally use Adtech glue, which is clear like this. You see the difference? This glue to me isn't any different than this glue. It still dries clear, but to me this glue takes a little bit longer to set. So I mean, I only have one stick left after this one, which I'm coming kind of low here. So let me reload this up. Okay, guys, it's my last sticks on that. Then I'll be back to my Adtech. The Adtech glue I have here in my glue skillet. That stuff sets a lot quicker. I think I prefer that. Does anybody have a preference on their glue? You guys let me know. I think I prefer the glue that sets a little bit faster. I mean, yeah, you don't really have much time to change your mind. Then you have to rip things out. I'm pretty much okay with that. Once I'm gluing it in, I've pretty much committed to where I've placed things. But some of the times when you're waiting for glue to set, it's like watching grass grow. Kind of really annoying. I mean, there are worse things in the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying not to complain. Let me see what you guys say. Kathy, love how you show us your tricks. That's what we are here for, guys. We're going to learn from each other. I know that's what I like doing. I like to learn your stuff. You can use needle nose pliers to pull zip ties. Yes, I do. I have done that before. I think a lot of the times I still get nervous when I'm on here with you guys, worried that I'm going to be doing something weird, and I still forget some things. But yeah, I've used needle nose pliers too. It's just sometimes it's getting a little awkward trying to hold everything and glue it at the same time. So you see here, I just want to show you before I glue it. Here's the first zip tie we used back here when we had the first bundle. And then here you can see where it's holding on the extra pieces I added on the outside. So you're going to have a lot of stuff going on in here. I'm going to add glue to this whole piece around here. And then once I'm done, I'm going to cut some of these off because when we bend it, these are going to stick out. And then I'm going to wrap it with floral tape. And I can hear somebody's coming in, you guys. One of my dogs. Who is that? That's Tootsie. She's the bad one. She likes to eat stuff off the floor. Can you guys see her down here? Tootsie, you come say hi. Do come say hi. Can you guys see her down here? Not really? Yeah. Is he going to get in a doggy bed? Okay. Good girl. She likes to eat stuff on the floor, so she's not usually allowed in my craft room. But it's so hot in here, I had to open the door. Come on. Go lay down. Get in the doggy bed. Get in the doggy bed. Tootsie. Come on. Doggy bed. Good girl. Doggy bed. Lay down. Good girl. Okay, guys, there's Tootsie. She says hi. Lay down. Good girl. Okay, so all right, guys, back to reality, right? Too cute. Who cares if you mess up? We all do. Thanks, Jen. I know, huh? It's nice to be with friends, to be with like-minded individuals. We all have the same likes and interests so far here. Lana Miller, sorry. So sorry. I am better late than never. No problem. You can always catch the replay, guys. No problem. Let's see here. Let me see here. All right, what was I doing? I got distracted. Dogs, flowers, friends. Next thing is something shiny. I'm going to start gluing this guy up right here. So let me just put a whole bunch of glue around here. If you guys can see, I'm just adding glue on all of these stems around this entire piece of, there we go. See that? Around this entire piece of zip ties on all this here, because this is where we're going to make sure nothing kind of comes out. And now, again, we sit and wait. See all that glue I added? That's just to... Oh, you're such a good girl. It's a bad idea to have her in here with me. I'm going to be constantly distracted by her cuteness. So now we're just going to wait for all that glue to kind of set. Because even up here on the top, this stuff's... It's just a tiny bit tacky. It's not crazy wet, but... Again, it's that weird glue that came with the gun, and I can't say no to hot glue. I mean, it came with the hot glue gun, right? So here we just wait for this to set. I can't touch it, so just a second, guys. It's part of being live, right? Get to wait and watch me watch glue set. Raining in North Carolina, Patty. Watching for the first time. Thanks, Patty, for joining me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And Connie, yes, we're going to be adding some leaves and some greenery once I get the bow on there. Jeannie, yes, I do ship these to customers. I have made a few and posted them on my Etsy page, and they sell pretty quickly. They're really, really pretty easy, pretty nice to do. I got a couple Easter ones I'm going to be making with some Easter eggs put in there. I have a couple bunnies I want to put in a couple, so I have some Easter ones I made. I have ideas. Thanks for the heart. I saw that thing fly by on my screen here. Do you ship? Yes, LOL. You are a mess, girl. Love your humor. Yes, thank you. It's a beautiful mess. It's a gorgeous nightmare. Gorilla Glue sticks, Letty. I know I've used AdTech forever, but whatever came with this gun, I'm just using out the rest of it. And I mean, it was free glue if you ask me. I was gonna buy the glue gun anyways, and they gave me like 25 glue sticks. So I've just laid it and set that up. Sorry I'm late, been wanting to the swag. Hi from Idaho. Hi Beverly from Idaho, thanks for joining. Justine, can you make one for graves? I've never made one. I know they make these, they call them grave saddles for headstones. I'm pretty sure I could do a really gorgeous piece, the grave saddles. I just don't know. I've seen the forms at Hobby Lobby and online to make grave saddles. I've never done one, but I sure would love to try. I wouldn't mind do that out here. Here in Las Vegas, there's not many headstones above ground. My father passed away a long time ago, guys. It's a little bit about me if you wanted to know. My father passed away when I was about 4, turning 5 years old. So I've been to, and then after that, a lot of my family members have been very old on his side of the family. So I've been through a lot of funerals in my early years. And so a lot of the gravestones and the cemeteries here in Las Vegas, all of the headstones are flat. There's not a lot that come up out of the ground like I see, I basically see them in movies. But then there's the ones that go in the wall. There's big wall ones too, but a lot of the ones from the olden days, at least I can see the olden days when I was little, like 1980s, they're all flat to the ground. So I haven't had much experience with even seeing florals done for those types of things. Most of the funerals out here, you do like the easel with the big circular wreath on it, and then the florals that go on top of the caskets if you're doing that type of burial for your loved one. But the headstones for all my family members are all flat to the ground. So I don't even know if I even have, if I know of anyone that has one that comes up. I know some of the more fancier ones. Now, no one's passed away in my family for a long time. And the last couple that did, they decided they wanted to be cremated. So we don't have gravestones or headstones to do anything for. But that would be that would be an honor to do that for somebody. And it would be a horrible... It's like a double-edged sword. You don't want to have to do that for someone because it means they've lost someone they love. But at the same time, it'd be the best way to honor somebody. I'm getting a little teared up, you guys. It's so weird. That would be cool. Trying not to mess up knees keeps us on our toes. Yeah, no problem. Just coming on, Connie. Hello from Idaho, too. Nice. So I got a couple Idahoans. Idahoites. Is that how you say it? I'm a lost vegan, but I'm not vegan. Is that the same thing? Sorry, guys. I'm talking and messing and doing all that good stuff that a lot of you guys love so much, and a lot of you guys don't love so much. So, all right, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the middle of this piece here first, and anything else we add, we're going to be adding to the meat and potatoes we've already got here. If you look here, I'm going to shake this thing. This isn't coming out. And if you have all your glue done, pull on it, tug on it, because this is when you want things to fail on you. You want things to come apart, you want things to break, so you can find out now before you either ship it out or give it as a gift or put it out in your living room and the dog or the kids attack it, whatever. So pull on stuff, tug on it. Don't be afraid, make sure nothing's coming out. If you see here, once this glue's dry, guys, that's not going anywhere. I'm going to have to, if you want to, you have to go at that with some clippers. That's going to take a minute. So, next step here is we are going to start wrapping with floral tape. And I'm going to use some green floral tape. You guys, this is floral tape. A lot of you may be familiar with it. A lot of you may not. I only learned just recently how this stuff works. I've had this stuff for ages, and it sat there, and I didn't know how to use it. I want to say probably within the last year and a half, I've learned how to use floral tape. And that's just one of those things that you can't be embarrassed to talk about. So, floral tape, not sticky when you touch it. Kind of looks papery. You see here? It's kind of a little bit papery. So, all I do, you're going to grab it, wrap it around one side. Okay? I'm going to start here where my glue is. You see here? I'm going to start here where my glue is. I'm going to hold it. And what you're going to do is tug on it a little bit, and that activates the sticky part of it. I did not know that for years. So you just pull a little bit, stretch it, and just keep wrapping. Pull, and you see if that happens, because I'm so strong, start over. It's very forgiving. So start, just wrap it over one piece, hold it, and tug, and as you pull, tug. As you're twisting, pull just a little bit, put tension on this part, and just keep going, and just keep going. Tug, 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 pull, twist, pull, twist, pull, tug, however you gotta do it. So I'm just twirling my piece here. You guys can watch. And there's some pieces that are coming through. There's some stems that are sticking through, but we're gonna do another pass. So don't worry about that. All right, so now I'm coming up on a piece up here where these stems kind of stick out. So I'm gonna kind of try to push those down and bend them a little bit. And just keep wrapping, just keep twisting. However it gets easier for you. I'm going to change my hold on it just so I can get up under here a little bit easier. And this is going to help cover up a lot of icky part. But we're also going to be adding our bow. We're also going to be adding another zip tie or two. We might. This could go a lot of many different ways. So now that I'm up here on this piece, come back down. Oh, see under here? I'm going to come back down. Now I've left that piece sticking out there, that piece of zip tie. That's sharp. I'm going to cut that off actually. So I'm going to pull that and end it. If you guys see here, this is what you end up with in the middle. Looks much nicer than all those stems sticking out and showing the behind the scenes stuff you kind of don't really want to see. So now I don't have that sharp piece sticking out anymore. I'm going to start another row or another piece of floral tape right over the top of that. And it's easier, look, I'm wrapping it the wrong way. So it's easier to hold it and your piece of tape dangles underneath your hand, and I twist the piece and I'm holding it there. The base of your hand naturally will uncurl this ring of tape as you use it, so you don't really have to worry about tangling, or if you're trying to wrap the whole thing around there. I think for my style, this is pretty much the easiest way I've found out how to do it. So just keep taking your tape, just keep wrapping it. Remember I said I'm going to do one more pass here. I just want to make it a little thick to cover up a lot of that good stuff in the middle. So basically what we did, guys, is if you look at it in a bigger picture, we just made a new bundle. I mean, because when we're buying them from the store, the pre-made bundles, we're buying them already arranged and wrapped up with the paper, or with the, the commercial floral tapes, the stuff that they use when they make the bundles in the factories. We're just making a much larger one. Oh, guys, and floral tape is super inexpensive, so don't worry. You can find it at Walmart. You can find it at every craft store. You can find it online. It's super inexpensive. I have brown floral tape also, just for those times where you need to fix a bundle. Again, all I did at the end, I pull it off, and I'm just going to tug it a little bit, and see that piece came off on my finger, and you're done. Now, it's a tiny bit sticky to touch, but it's not, the residue doesn't come off on your fingers. It's not that type of adhesive. So this is what you got now. So guys, this is what we're working with now. So there's my, hold on, let me see. Oh, flip it around. This is my top piece. My top piece has 1 daisy. My bottom piece has 3 daisies. So that's what we're working with that. I'm done with the floral tape, right? I'm going to kind of bend it a little bit to give a curve in it. I'm going to curve this guy here in the middle. And we've got glue, zip ties, and floral tape. Do not be afraid, guys. It's not going to come apart. I was worried in the beginning with one of my first ones I ever made. I was very concerned because it's a lot of work and then it comes apart. And it was Tootsie's flipping her ears. So there I got some curve in it. If you can kind of see there, there's a little bit of curve in it. And that lends more to the way we want it to hang on our lantern. I'll show you here on the side view. Here's the curve. Let me see if I can show you guys straight on. Can you see there's a curve in this? It's not straight up and down. Let me try to see something straight I could show you. Here's straight up and down, and do you see it's a very, very slight curve in it? Very slight curve. It's not a huge 90-degree angle, but there's just enough curve in it so that when you lay this on top of your lantern here, let me show you the side view. The bow will be here. We're going to tie it up here. It curves perfectly to the way you want it to curve. Now this is a square lantern, but this is going to be universal for many different lanterns. It's not going to necessarily only be for the type that has this kind of top on it. All lanterns are different, guys, so see? And it lends it the right kind of curve. If you had this straight, this piece would stick straight out this way, and it would look like that. And you want it to come down on your lantern. So we're still on par for the course, right? That's a golf reference, I think. I have no idea what it means. Just mean we're still on track, right? Bow making time, guys. Bow making time. After we make the bow, we're going to throw little pieces in and off and out of it. Off, in, out, left, right, up, down. and then we'll work on it while it's on the lantern to just add the little finishing touches. Now remember, it's universal for all lanterns, but it's a pretty good reference. One lantern, a lot of them are alike. It's universal, but whatever lantern you're using at the time, just make sure that it looks great for that piece. And majority of the time, everything is, you're able to kind of adjust things, move things around, move ribbon. Wire ribbon is very forgiving, so you can kind of tug and move things around. It won't make a difference. Wow, you guys, this tape is really angry at me. I didn't want to do this. I saved these guys to wrap them back around the ribbon so the ribbon doesn't unravel while I'm storing it on my shelves. All I'm doing is I'm taking these pieces and I'm making the dovetail in them to start. So that's folding it in half and then cutting from your folded edge diagonally up towards the other edge. And then you get that little V in it. That's called a dovetail. If you're new to the crafting game and you're not familiar with it, those are called dovetails. Alright guys, getting this started. Let me dovetail this one. All the ribbon I plan to use, I like to open all the spools because once you get your hands on it, once you get your hands open and ready, you're going to need to hold everything. And I want everything ready to go. So I'm going to start with this bigger, what is this? This is a plaid. It's like a plaid picnic-y design. Let's see, Beverly from Texas. Let me just check in with you guys real quick. Peggy, yes, we learn something new every day. I say that all the time. Idaho Falls, Eastern Idaho. Hi, Connie. Oh. Let's see, Beverly's from Texas, but up here working at the Air Force Base for a couple of years. Okay. Best instructions for using that tape. Good. Thank you, Linda. That's cool. Good. I'm glad because I had no clue how to use it. I had none. Oh, it's awesome. Do you make swags for over the door? Is it done like this but bigger? Okay, yes, Jeannie, I do make swags for over the door, but I don't use this type of thing. I usually use an evergreen base, and then that's a lot easier to use as your meat and potatoes to hold things in. So I don't use, lantern swags are have a lot less, they don't have a big foundation. You don't want them to be too heavy because then they'll knock over the lantern. So you want them to be as light as you can. A door swag can have a good heavy base, and I like to use evergreen bases for that, or evergreen forms. I do like a Christmas swag, and then I add the florals into it. And let me tell you guys, you can use that evergreen for all times of the year. Don't just get boxed into they're only for Christmas, because they're not. They look gorgeous with everything. 4th of July, Easter, Valentine's Day, you name it, because you can get them in different colors too. So I'll show you guys that. I got some white ones. And actually, my other dog just came in. She has her squeaker. And she's going out. Okay. I have the door open, you guys. I usually don't keep my door open. All right, let's see. Born and raised around Boise. And Connie, that's nice. Let's see. Letty, you make it look easy. Love your step-by-step instructions. That's good. I love doing that, Letty. That's what makes me happy, is that you guys are getting out of it what I wanted to get out of it back in the day when I couldn't find anyone to help me. So this is like the best thing. I try to imagine, what did I want when I was starting out? And let me tell you one thing, you guys, I'm no professional by any means. I've just been doing this for a little while. So the things that I learn and the things I learn from you guys, we can all group together and then share. Like I like to say, there's room for all of us at the craft table. There really is. Everybody's got a different amount of experience that we can all learn from each other. It's kind of awesome. So now we're going to start the bow. But we're not going to use a chenille stem. We're going to use the same zip ties that we have, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my chip clips. Remember, I keep these nearby. You guys have these little wooden chip clips or a plastic one or whatever you use. Clothespin, in my family, we call them chip clips because that's basically all we use them for is bags of chips. So this is going to be nearby in case you need it because we've got 4 ribbons to work with. It might get a little overwhelming. This is a little bit thicker. It's canvasy, but it's a little bit thicker. Yeah, this was Paper Mart, but I bought this like 4 or 5 years ago. So I've had this forever and I've never used it. So I'm a little excited to see how this goes. Now, I don't want these tails to be too long, but I also don't want to make them too short. So usually my first tail is just a guesstimation, and I just pick a length. That looks like it's about the length of my hand. You know, if you guys really need a way to measure it, take the length of your hand, just guess at it. There's no wrong way to do this, right? So pinch it, and I'm going to make a fairly decent sized loop. Now here's the piece we made. Now I don't want the bow to be too big than the piece we've already got, right? But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to set this guy here for inspiration, just leave him close by, is I'm going to make 4 loops. And I'm just going to kind of guess. So here's the piece here. I'm going to guess. So now I have this loop that I've already made to measure this loop, and it looks about the same. So if you ever guessed, pull it up to the loop you've already made, and it's about the same. And honestly, I like to make some of them a little bit different than the others. When you get a little bit of a variation, it makes it look kind of crazy, a little bit different, and I love that. So, it's a habit for me to twist, because usually double-sided ribbon, you don't have to, but in this instance, it's just out of habit and necessity. I twist everything. So I did a twist, and then I made another loop. Use my finger to pull them up. This one looks a little, you see it? It's just a little bit bigger than the one I've already made. I don't care. I want to leave it like that. Nothing has to be perfect. There's only one. I think butterfly wings are the only identical things, right? Are they? Is that like one of those old wives' tales? I can't remember. So there's my 4th loop, same thing. Pull it around, twist it. And then I'm going to take an extra long piece here, and I'm just going to cut this off kind of longer than I know I need it. I don't want it to be this long, but if I'm only going to cut like an inch or 2 off, that's fine. But that's part of what you have to accept is a little bit of, I guess you could call it waste. If you look here, I let go and I've pushed it into the crease of my hand. So now I'm holding with my thumb and my finger. We shall see though if it starts to get, because this is kind of bulky, if it starts to get a little too much to hold onto, I'll have to use these clothespins, and that's usually the best way. Clothespin is you just put that around there and then you put it down on your table and you're done. Then you can kind of sandwich them all together. So now I'm going to grab my next 2.5 inch ribbon. I always work with the larger ribbons first and then the smaller ribbons last. So same thing here. I'm going to grab about maybe, that's a little bit longer than my hand by an inch, and then I'm just going to pinch it here. Grab it, and now see this is not double-sided, so I have to twist on this. You see that, guys? So I'm going to grab it here. I have my loop here to kind of guesstimate how big I want that. Alright, twist that so that the front faces me. The back is going to face you guys on camera. So then I pull this a little bit longer. Let me pull the slack out. Pull this a little bit longer. Put that back up to your hand here. Okay, and then pinch. I have this loop to gauge with this loop if you want to make sure you're keeping on track with it. Okay, so now I've pinched it, and now I'm twisting it so that the pattern side faces me. Make another loop. It's about the same size as that loop. Pinch in towards your fingers. Twist it. We're making our 4th and last loop for this bow. It's about the same size, if you can see here. Pinch that in, twist that, and now we're going to cut this last tail. Again, I'm going to cut it longer than I know I need it. Or, I mean, I might be guesstimating to the point where it's the perfect length. You never know. So now this is a little bit too much for me at this point. What I did was I slid this in, but I slid it on top of the piece I was already holding. So if you see here, this bow is now on top. So I was pinching and holding here, and then you basically are going to slide it in under that other thumb. So you're holding all these guys together. If it gets too much to hold, zip tie them individually. Take a zip tie and finish this bow, zip tie it. Finish this bow, zip tie it. And then you can place them all together and cut your zip ties off. Or do the same thing with oh, I don't know, rubber bands or twist ties or anything you need to do it. If you can't hold this many at one time, there are so many different ways. Then there's also the Pro Bow. And I know I keep telling you guys I'm going to give you another Pro Bow tutorial. You can see my Pro Bow kind of right there. Just timing. I'm so sorry, you guys. Got to work, got a house, you got all those responsibilities. I try to squeeze in as much crafting as I possibly can. You know, a little bit of sleep in between there. I try to. So next in line is I have a lot of patterned pieces here. If you see, I got 2 plaids, a polka dot, and then I picked a solid to kind of break it up. So to break up these patterns, and then this one's a little bit more busy. Plus this guy right here is not wired. So this one I need to make sure the rest of these wired pieces will hold it up and give it a little poof. I'm going to make these loops smaller. So the smaller the loop when it's not non-wired, it'll stay up on its own. So I'm going to use my solid 1.5 inch here. And it's the same exact premise. So I'm going to grab a piece about as long as I think I need it. And if you guys see here, I'm using these fingers here. I'm holding everything in my, what do you call this, your thumb pit? What do you call this piece of your hand? I've got it in this right here. My thumb pit. Is that a thumb pit? I'm going to go with thumb pit because it sounds funny. So, let's see. I'm just checking with you guys real quick. Hi, Carol from Magnolia, Texas. How much for the one you're making penny in? Penny? Making penny in? I'm not sure. Frida. I live in West Virginia, Logan, West Virginia. Frida, I'm not sure how much, but I can do a little price sheet at the end, and then possibly going to just list this one on Etsy because this is my lantern I keep on the floor in my not my living room. I leave this in the hallway, and I don't want to put something like this with all these pieces down on the floor close to my dogs because my dogs will get to it and eat pieces. So I'll probably list this one on Etsy. So you guys will see soon how much. I'll do my little price sheet and find out how much I spent on it. But remember, guys, these flowers were very inexpensive. I only used 4 bundles and then a couple leftover pieces from Tulips from Micheals. But all of this was 50% off at Hobby Lobby. And all of the ribbon I already had, and all the ribbon is very inexpensive. Especially if you're doing paper mart and all that, 50-yard rolls. Very inexpensive. So this should be very affordable, guys. I'll post it and then I'll make sure you guys all see my Etsy listing. So share this video if you can, and then we'll get things together and get me some more watchers, guys. That way I can gets me closer to the Texas trip I'm taking to that Wreath Makers Live. All right, so back to my thumb pit, right? This is a thumb pit. I'm using these 2 fingers to hold. And then this I'm making smaller than these loops because these are the smaller ribbon. And we're now making the center of the bow. We're making the center of this bow with these smaller ribbons. Now again, this is not double-sided ribbon, but it's just out of habit that I do the twisting. And I'm only going to make 2 loops. There were 4 loops on all this, but I'm only making 2 loops with this 1.5 inch. And we'll see how that turns out. Because if it looks like too kind of like naked or sparse, then what I'll do is I'll add in more. And you guys have seen me do that. It's really simple, just add in more. You just cut a strip of ribbon and make 1 loop at a time. And nobody knows the difference of how you made it. Construction isn't that important. It's the end project, it's the end piece and how happy it makes you when you look at it. Okay guys, here's my handful of ribbon. And now the last ribbon I have here is unwired. So we're going to take the unwired piece and we're going to do exactly the same. We're just going to pretend that it's wired. So here I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to guess I want it to be about that length, the first tail. Pinch it and make your first loop. Now I have to make my loop here just as big as this loop here. And remember, we made these loops smaller. These loops are smaller because this unwired stuff will stick up. It'll stand up on its own if the loop is small enough. And so I've twisted that, and then there's my second loop. I'm going to pinch it. See, here's my second loop. Pinch it, and then now I can cut this. And also this unwired stuff is really good we're going to use this as our tie-on to the lantern. So we're going to keep whatever ribbon you choose. You can use wired ribbon too. It's not a problem. Not a problem at all. So now I'm going to place this guy right next to the other one. And then we're using the wired stuff to really keep the other stuff kind of to stick up. Okay, guys, so here's my handful. Here's my handful. You see my thumb sticking through there. So just like we do with chenille stems, we're going to do the exact same thing with our zip tie. Okay? So feed your zip tie through where your thumb is. You see it going through right there where my thumb is? Comes out this side of your hand. Okay? So now I'm going to take the piece here. You can see I have it in my thumb. I'm going to put it between my middle and my index finger and kind of hold that back there to the back. And I'm going to grab this guy on this side. And then this is where you can let go. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but you can do it. You can let go and feed that into that guy there. Or you could do that before you let go if you're not a daredevil or a thrill seeker. That's thrill seeking in the craft world, right? Feed those two together and just tighten that puppy as tight as it'll go. We want that, okay? So now is where we're going to kind of sort of adjust some things. Not really like too permanent on these, the placement of these, because we're going to mess with it a lot once we get it on once we get it on the lantern. So here you just got a big pile of loops and tails and loops and bows and all that stuff. You can kind of pull one way and pull one the other. Zip ties are just as secure as your pipe cleaner. It's all, you know, it's all put in there with your own human strength. So this is as good as it'll be as tight as you've pulled it, and it's not going to fall apart, you guys. You'll be okay. And if it does, it's not the end of the world. Now, if you did the other technique where you zip tied each ribbon, at this point, you'll zip tie all of them together, and then you can cut off the other zip ties once you get it in there, or you can do that, or you can just leave them on. Twist ties might be easier because you can just clip them with your wire clippers. Kind of just pulling a loop left and right, because we got those big ones have 4 or 2 loops each on each side, so pull your big ones left and right. I'm pulling one up and one down, that kind of thing. So here's a small little mess, not a problem. I'm going to cut the zip tie, the long piece off the back here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use another zip tie to zip tie it to our piece here. How are you guys doing? Do you guys... where do you get 50 rolls of ribbon? Sam's doesn't have theirs anymore. No, yet you have to buy it seasonally at Costco and Sam's, but you can find it at different websites. It is available on Amazon. You can get 50-yard rolls. They're not as inexpensive as Sam's Club or Costco, but there are some really pretty ones that you can get, and they're still, you know, they're still moderately priced to where it makes it okay. It makes it still affordable. And then also, again, you guys know my favorite is craftoutlet.com. You have to tailor your search for 50-yard rolls. And then from there, you can pick the length and you can pick 50-yard rolls, and they'll show you everything that they have available at that time for a 50-yard roll. And that's what this is. This is a 50-yard roll I got at craftoutlet.com. Paper Mart also has them. Actually, you know what? Don't quote me, you guys. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've ordered from Paper Mart. I'm not absolutely sure, but I do know Craft Outlet does have 50-yard rolls. So you just have to change your search. You do an advanced search and then change the length to 50 yards, and you'll see everything that they have to offer. All right, guys, so now we have our piece zip tied together, and I cut that piece off. What I'm going to try to do, which I should have done before I tightened this all the way down, was put this underneath here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get this in. I want to basically feed this through my ribbon or I want to feed this under this zip tie. I want to feed it through the ribbon, but I don't believe I'm going to be able to do that. Let me see if I can kind of, okay, yeah, I did it. What you got to do, guys, is before you're done zip tying that, push one, like just hold one underneath there like that. And then, if that even makes any sense, I'd have to do another one sometime. Sorry, guys, I missed that step. So right now I'm just feeding this zip tie underneath the one that we use to secure the bow. And this is the one we're going to use to secure this to our swag. Okay. And here's where I'm placing this on our actual swag piece. And it looks like it's a little small. I have like a lot of room top and bottom here. So we're probably going to be adding more florals. It's a good thing I have a lot of florals. So there's that. Just zip tied it to the back of my piece. I'm going to cut that piece off. And now I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to fill the negative space above and below. I was going to just add to the piece itself and then the bow, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. So let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to add some more to it and probably put some more floral tape around that. Okay, guys, remember this is the first time I've done one this size. So we all run into these wonderful little hiccups, but that's okay. That's okay. So we've got almost, oh, sorry, that's the top. I'm messing things up again. That's the top. I zip tied it on the wrong way. I don't want it to face that way. So here's how you fix a boo-boo. You cut it off. There you go. And you try again. So now I'm going to feed this through the back again one more time. And now I have to pay attention to which way this faces. So I've got, okay, so here's my one daisy. Okay, this is my top, that's my bottom. I want the bow to face this way because the top here has the smaller ribbon on it. I kind of moved it more to the top instead of the center. And honestly, that wasn't by design. That's just how it happened. That's just how it happened when I was making it and holding it in my hand. So that's just part of, what do you call it? That's just life. Some of these things you're not in control of. I know a lot of times it might look like I'm in control of it, but I'm not. It's just going to be, how is it going to turn out? And okay, that's how it wants to be, then fine. I have to let it do what it naturally would do. Okay, so there. Now I have my top piece with my one daisy here. And here's my bottom piece. But do you see, you guys, I have a lot of negative space in here. So we're going to need to put more florals in here to cover up this and this piece over here. But this is basically what we're working with so far. And it's turning into a really big piece. It's exactly what I wanted. You guys see here? It's not too long. It's actually a really good length here. I just need to fill in this little naked spot right here in the middle. And then any of this around here, the ribbon, we're going to adjust and mess with once we get it on the lantern. But I got good height on it too. So now I'm going to fill in this space, you guys. That wasn't planned. So apparently what I did here was I made this too long. Basically what was supposed to finish is when you put your bow in the middle, you're not supposed to have this empty space here. Do you see all that? This is supposed to be full. So this piece and this piece would meet it. So I'm thinking basically the same premise as when I make the small ones I should have used when I made this larger one and not put them so far apart. So this right here should have probably been maybe about, what is that? It's almost 2 inches, guys. Almost 2 inches too long, but that's okay. We are going to fix it. And we have the flowers and the resources to do that. That's why we buy the bundles. We buy them in bundles. Okay, so let me get my extra tulips back out. And I'm going to start cutting those off. And remember, now we don't want these to all be too long because I don't want it to interfere with what I've already done with the purple daisies down there on the bottom. So, oh, look at that. That's missing the tulips on that one. Sorry, guys. All right, so I'm just going to cut off all this stuff here and see what you guys are chatting about. Always love your choice of colors. You are also a great teacher. Thank you, Helen. I love that. That's what I like to hear. Thank you so much. That makes me feel great. That's really nice. It's heartwarming. I also like to do this too because if you ever come up across a hiccup, I don't like to call them mistakes. I'll call them hiccups. If you come across a hiccup, there's always got to be a way to fix it. You have to sit back and go, okay, well, oops. I did an oops. How am I going to fix the oops? Not a problem. I got a couple. Now the top, I have the bow right up toward the top. So if I add anything to the top, it's just going to be a little accent piece, which is those little berries I showed you guys earlier. But this particular piece on the bottom, I actually really do need to fill in with some bulk because I got a really big empty spot down there. And we don't want that showing. Now, I mean, yeah, we went to the extra step of putting the floral tape on there to make it pretty. But we don't want that to be seen. I mean, if you see it from the back, sure. You see how that just came right off. If you see it from the back, sure, that's just part of it. But we don't want that to be seen from the front or the sides. And also, I have an LED candle inside this lantern. I use this lantern. Like I said, I usually use it on the floor in my hallway as an accent piece. So I have a fairly large LED candle in there. It puts off a good amount of light. So not much of the back of it is going to be seen through the glass. And always, guys, your lanterns, a good lantern filler that I like is just roll up some raffia. That's all that is right in there. It's a big bundle of raffia, and I stuck the candle right in the middle of it. Can't go wrong with raffia. It's also very forgiving, easy to work with. You can cut it into a million pieces and nobody will know. Let's cut. These pieces look like they have to stay long, but I'll show you how we can cut them up and make them smaller. Let me take this guy here. Alright, so you guys, I cut some more here, and I'll show you how we're going to fill it in. I'm not sure if I need another one of those, but I might, so I'll just keep it close by. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, it might seem that you shouldn't, but what we're going to do is we're going to smoosh the bow up. We're not going to care about it right now because it's wired and it's forgiving. And we need to work on this empty piece right here. We need to work in the middle. So we're going to have to just do the same thing we did before, but we're going to layer coming more going out left and right. And then we're going to put some of these smaller pieces in the middle. In fact, this one I'm going to put in the middle because you see how full this is? I'm looking at these as how full they are. Obviously, this isn't full. The tulips can be, but they're not really that. And all these are long pieces, so I'm going to use this one just right here in the dead center, in the middle. And if you can see here, that's already added a good amount of filler to that empty space that I left. So what I'm going to do is cut this a little bit shorter. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did before we put the bow and the floral tape and everything on. So we're just going to put these all together to try to fix my little faux pas that I made here of making that a little bit too, making that just a little bit too too big. So word of thumb, guys, don't make that space so big. And if you're not watching this all the way through, tell your friends, or if you know anyone who couldn't fill it in or couldn't watch it, let them know. The space I made in the beginning, too big. So all I'm doing is making another little small hand bundle, and I'm putting them on left and right, left and right. And so I have this here. I got the middle, this is my middle piece. It's going to go right in the center, and then these are going to spread out. The rest of this is going to spread out left and right. It might look just like a big handful of a mess right now, but that's okay. I didn't realize it. I got a dog over here. This is Zoe. They've exchanged out in the process. She likes to be with me in the craft room. This is my little baby. Alright guys, so Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, guys. One more thing. Just now watching it, I'm going to have to take the bow off again. I can't work with it with the bow on. There's no room. Take the bow off. To be continued. Sorry about that, guys. But I'm glad you're here with me so that we can work this all out together. So what I'm going to do here, I lost a tulip. It's going to make this just a little bit easier for us. I don't know where this came off at. I'll have to find it later and glue it back on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these and I'm going to lay them. I know this is my top piece. This is my bottom piece. I need to fill in a space right here. Okay. Oh, thank you, Marla, for sharing. I appreciate that. And love how you just roll with it. Silicone mat. Yes, this right here is my little yellow silicone mat. What do you use to place your skillet on? Oh, this is an old cutting mat. This purple one that it's on, it's an old cutting mat, but it's getting warped from the heat. So what I think I have to do is I think I need to get one of those little metal pie plate things that you can buy. Creative mind at work. Thank you so much, Anne. Let's see. Irina, I got this lantern I got at Hobby Lobby. But I've gotten a couple. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm sorry. Scratch that, guys. It just came to me. I got this lantern. This is a Pier 1 lantern that I got on clearance because regular price was not happening. That's where I got this from. That one was those two are home goods, but I have gotten them before at Hobby Lobby. I have the big one out in my living room is from Hobby Lobby. I completely forgot about that. That was a Pier 1 purchase because I also got a certain amount of percentage off for being a card holder. I went to like a little arrangement class they hold. Every once in a while, Pier 1 will hold these little arrangement classes, and they're really cute. And then they give you a discount for shopping once you leave or once the class is over. It's fun. You can go and you can meet other people that want to just do stuff for their house and talk and chat, and they usually have like food and drink and stuff like that. Okay, guys, what I've done is I've cut these stems actually pretty short. And since what I'm doing here is I'm working on the empty piece, I know that this is my top and this is my bottom. I'm going to add this here. All right, and I got to hold it on. And see, what I'm doing is I'm just talking you guys through me trying to fix my mistake. Does that work? Is that good for you guys? I'm just talking you through me fixing my mistake. I'm cutting all the stems shorter. That's what I'm doing with one hand. And I'm holding them around here. Because remember, I'm going to bend all this stuff out. And I'm going to kind of crowd this up a little bit. Because I'm going to throw that bow right on top of it. There we go. I think that might be full enough. I really want to show you guys here. This is what I've added. Add zip ties. That's why make sure you buy a lot, guys. They usually come in 25 packs, but I got like a couple hundred in that pack from Lowe's that I bought. Okay, guys. One more again. Put the zip tie on. Oop, I'm losing one. There we go. Put the zip tie on. One of them didn't get in there. Get in there right now. Come on. Come on. People are watching. Come on. Okay, there we go. Extra pieces. That's as tight as I can get it to go. I'm going to cut that there. I'm going to kind of cut these off here and here. And then now I got to glue it, you guys. I got to do all that glue thing again so we can chit chat while we wait. So basically that's what I did was, you guys remember seeing me do this the first go round when I made the initial piece? Right? So you have an empty spot, you made a mistake. Apparently what I found out is we're going to go back and do the exact same thing over again and just add it closer to the center. I do still have all these little extra pieces, but we're still going to add stuff to the bow. So, I mean, these little hiccups are part of it, right? That's part of part of the process. You know, you come across issues. Not everybody's perfect, and I know even the people out there that are professionals, they have their same issues. They have little hiccups, and they got to wait for stuff to dry and set. And it's okay, well, I got to figure out how I'm going to fix it. So I've made it a little fuller on the bottom, and then I'm going to fluff everything out after I put the bow on it. So let's see. Betty, love all your beautiful work from Westlake, Texas, very down south. Nice, Betty. Thanks for joining me. Looks like the lantern's from Hobby Lobby, Helen. I want to say Hobby Lobby, but I think I got it at Pier 1. I've had this lantern for a long time. So, I mean, I haven't bought lanterns for a while. I know that those two lanterns behind me here in the background, I got those at a place called Home Goods here in Las Vegas. It's kind of like it's like a TJ Maxx or a Ross. So it's like discounted home decor. I got those there. And I've gotten a really big lantern from Hobby Lobby that's out in my living room. And it's turquoise. So I need to actually put something on it for the holidays or just for spring and summer. But it's really turquoise, so I might put like red on it or something. Actually, that would look good for 4th of July, huh? Big red daisies. I could try that. Sherry, could you make anything with shells? Actually, Sherry, I've been looking into doing like a beach theme wreath. I was looking for signs and things that looked right, either beach themed with seashells and those types of things. Allie, Marcel, it's beautiful. Love your work. Thank you, Allie. Do you think starting over would have been easier? I'm learning more your way. Good job. Linda, no, I think one thing, starting over, no, I wouldn't think so. In this instance, this isn't like a detrimental mistake to where, it's like completely wrong. I always don't like to say there's something completely wrong with anything. There's not many things that I will completely rip apart and start over. There's always a way to fix something. So in this instance, all I needed was it to be a little bit fuller here than it was on the top. And now that I've got that, my bow is going to fill that in, and then I'm going to add more to the bow. Plus, we did a lot of gluing, zip tying, and floral tape. So starting completely over it would be a little bit too much work, in my opinion. Now remember, I told you guys in the beginning, these are really quick and fast, and then I went and made the piece in the middle a little bit too long, and then screwed all that up. But hey, man, I'm human, right? Who's this? Oh, this is my Tootsie. Have you guys met Tootsie? I know you guys have met Zoe, but Tootsie's down here. Ugh. This is my Tootsie. She looks just like Zoe. But she wants attention right now, and Mommy is working. So, all right, say goodbye. Go lay down. Yeah, Tootsie's the more needy one. Zoe will just lay down and sleep, and Tootsie really wants to always be held. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's my baby. Beautiful from Shreveport, Louisiana. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for joining me. Big Lots here in Utah had a bunch of sea stuff. Oh, you know, I haven't been to my Big Lots for a while out here. We have Big Lots out here, too. That company was actually my first job in high school back when it used to be called McFrugal's. You guys might not know. Big Lots used to be McFrugal's and is actually part of the Pick and Save Corporation. And Pick and Save was around when I was really little here in Vegas. I used to go to Pick and Save all the time with my mom and my grandma. And then my second job, my first job when I was 16 was at a drive-in movie theater. But my second job was at McFrugal's, which is basically Big Lots. So all of the holiday stuff that would come out was always so much fun to look at, and then try not to spend my 16-year-old minimum wage budget on crafts. Because yes, guys, I've been doing this since I was really little. Been buying stuff and making things and making gifts for people as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember. And when I didn't have a job to do that when I was really little, my grandma and my mom would buy me the stuff, and I'd make things for my classmates and my teachers and my neighbors and all that good stuff. Okay, so we repeated that whole process. If you can see here, the space in the middle is much smaller. It's about the size of my hand. This is the exact same format that I use for the small ones. So, process of elimination. I'm glad I can make this mistake with you guys. We make that mistake together. I basically make them, and if my hand fits in the middle, that's what I make the small ones with. And apparently we're going to stick with the same format for these bigger ones. I can just make it longer at the bottom. So I'm glad I could be here with you guys, and you guys could share that with me. Of course, it's never-endingly embarrassing, but that's okay, right? It's a good embarrassed. It's an embarrassed, like, it's just a, you know, shrug your shoulders and go, oh, well, I'm glad we can all learn from what I did. It's like falling down. It's not like your pride is hurt that much, because I really don't have that much pride, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. It happens. It happens. It happens to all of us. At least it's not like a thing where I got a measurement wrong and I like was cutting fabric or something and then I was completely out of fabric, because that would have been bad. That would have been like a sad mistake. This one's a happy mistake. So we have a larger base and a smaller top. And I have to remember, I have one daisy at the top and I've got 3 daisies at the bottom, so I know how I want to place my bow this time. I want to make sure this piece is at the top. And I have, basically I want more of my tails coming down at the bottom. That's why I placed it that way. My smaller loops are at the top and my bigger loops are here towards my bottom where I have the bigger daisies. So all I did was wrap that around. So how many times we cut? We cut this bow off 3 times, right? Just want to make sure it's perfect. Just want it to look good for you guys. And that way, whenever this gets to whoever's home it ends up in, they'll know we put a lot of love into it. Okay, I cut that off. Is that a full? No, that's not a full one. Okay. So now here we've got our bow. I'm just moving these loops around, guys. All I'm doing is just kind of adjusting this stuff. I just need to be above it when I do it. I need to have a better center of gravity. So I'm just kind of getting on top of it here. I'm placing these loops where I definitely know I want them to be, because we're going to start gluing stuff into them. Jeez, you guys, I did it again. One more time. It's too far up at the top and it's choking everything. I'll get this, I promise you. I promise you, I've done this before. I'm not like, you know. I'm not crazy. I'm not lying. It's one of those things where if you want it to look right, you just know you need it to be in a certain spot. And it's not like a perfectionist kind of thing. I put the bow too close to the top. Now I'm putting it more in the center. So all my empty space back here, before I had it way up here at the top and I was choking the top. I need to put this more in the center here. Now if you're using a zip tie, obviously, you know, the zip tie is permanent and that's why I have to keep cutting it off. If you're using a chenille stem or a pipe cleaner, you've got a lot more room to work with, which might have been better in this case since I seem to not be able to find placement properly on this project. So I'm going to stick with the center placement here. Cut that off, and let's see, guys. It'll be what, like 5th, 6th times the charm? Jeez, Whitney. I'll get it, you guys. I'll get it. All right, so now we've, yes, okay. It's already looking much, okay, good. Very happy. Bending my flowers down towards my bow. I'm taking everything up at the top and I'm kind of bending this, not the long stuff, but the tulips, this little tiny white daisy thing here. This stuff, the longer stuff I want to come out. But I'm bending the daisy forward and down because it was sticking straight up. And these are all the little things like, we're not going to concentrate on it yet, but this is the back, so I'm probably going to have to put a flower back here. But we have to do that after we tie it on. Okay, so now I've got a lot of this filler here looking really good. Okay, and now same thing here at the bottom. I think it might be time to place it on the lantern and work on it on the lantern to get it exactly where I want it on this lantern. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to bend these pieces out more. Again, all of this is very forgiving because it's all wired. Every little flower piece you have in here is wired. You can bend them at certain points. The stems will bend a certain way somehow, okay? So We're going to put this on the lantern now to work on it, and then we'll have to take it back off to put the leaves on the back of it. Or my ribbon scissors. I'm just cutting the dovetails in the empty stem, or on the empty ends, just to see how it looks. If they're still too long, we can cut them again later. Just guessing where I want them at the moment. Okay, guys. So here's where I'm going to take my other ribbon that I want to use as my tie-on. And I'm literally just going to take a decent amount of ribbon. Oh, that looks good. And I'll tell you how long it is. This is 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 40. This is about 42 inches long. It's just a little strip of ribbon. And this is my top piece, right? So I'm going to basically feed this ribbon around the top. So I've got my hand behind the bow, and I'm placing this, whichever end will come through first. Just placing it around the back of it here. And I'm just going to tie a knot, you guys. I'm just tying a square knot. And this is what you're going to use to secure that on. So left over right and right over left. And that's all there is to it for the tie-on. I just tied it over the back and have a square knot. And here we're going to bring our pretty little lantern back in, you guys. And I'm going to show you the back side of it. I'm going to lay it on the side. Here's the door of the lantern, so we want the lantern, the swag to come up this way. So I'm going to use this piece here. This is where you're tying your bow, your ribbon. Let's say if you use wire ribbon, you could still get this to look pretty gorgeous on the side, because your wired ribbon, you can shape it and form it and move it all around. This is unwired ribbon. It's also very forgiving. It's not detrimental to the actual piece. I actually think it's pretty as well. Now I'm going to cut little dovetails on the end of this just for the heck of it, just to give a little finished edge. So here where you see, that's basically what you look at from that side. So I'm going to probably put a little bow up here, or I mean a flower up here to kind of hide that space there. And here's where you want to look at the actual piece on your lantern to see where you need to fill anything in at. And then we're also going to mess with this bow. I'm going to mess with the bow, and I'm going to add florals and leaves and things into the bow. So I'm going to bring these loops forward. I got another loop that's kind of hiding under here. All of this is really just messing and fluffing ribbon and getting things, you know, kind of like where you want them. I like to put a little bit of a bend in my ribbon tails. I like to push up on them, so they kind of do that. Just take your tail and push up on it. Oh, look at this back here. Jeez. Design, you want your ribbon to be kind of like floppy but still fluffy. We're putting florals in here to fill up these spaces, so nothing is going to be like, you're not going to have a really big hole, or you're not going to need to worry about something leaving like a big gap or anything like that. You'll be fine. It'll look great, you guys. Also, you want to get your ribbon placed where you want it, because once you start gluing in the other pieces, like once I start gluing in greenery and flowers, your ribbon pretty much won't be able to be moved after that. At that point, you've sealed it in where it's at, and it's not going anywhere. Okay, guys, this is as good as I'm going to push it. As far as moving the wire, I could sit here and fluff this bow for hours. It's just it's a habit of what I do. Okay, guys, so I've got good length right here. This is all pretty, and I'm going to kind of probably fluff it out just a little bit more. And all I'm doing is taking my pieces and pulling them apart. You're putting a little bit of a bend in their stems. You're not going to mess the piece up, not to worry at all. All right, so you guys can see on this side, Here's my extra tulips. I got some of these pieces. We can cut these into many different pieces. We don't have to leave them as they are. What else do I have? Oh, I got these little berries I want to put in there too. And I might use maybe 1 or 2 of these. So I'm just going to pull these guys off of the stem this way, and I'm only going to use that portion. So I have little flowers here. Let me see. Do I want to take... I'll take this guy off of the stem here, this tulip here. Let me use that leaf. So you guys, I'm taking them off of their stems, and you see this leaf here? I'm going to use the leaf, but I'm going to cut that little plastic piece off of the bottom. And I'm going to use this piece here, and I'm going to place that inside the bow. So it's all these little tiny extra pieces that you can place in as accents places that you would never think that they would look good or they fit in there. But just experiment with it. Just try it. Just start pulling things apart and see what happens. Nothing is ever permanent, especially in this particular, like everything that's... The little pieces that end up on things, I just don't ever... I always rip them apart. So I'm going to show you here too. Now we cut this off of this bush. Okay, right? Cut it off of this bush like this. I'm going to take it at some point and I'm going to pick, okay, well look, here's one piece here. You can kind of push, do you see that one piece separated? You can kind of just pull it apart. So now I've got the 2 pieces here, but I can actually turn this into 2 pieces itself. Do you see this long piece right here? I'm going to take that and I'm going to get down as far as I can to the base with my clippers. And now I've made it, here's one. And here, you guys see that? This little piece has become from 1 to 2. So now I have 2 smaller pieces that I can use to place into my bow as an accent. Nothing has to stay the same size. You can always get a little bit of accents out of your longer stemmed pieces. And that's part of the fun of being able to basically just deconstruct this entire, you can deconstruct this entire, what's the word I'm looking for? You can deconstruct the entire piece, the bush, the anything. You don't have to keep it any one way that it comes. So all I'm going to do is just test out placing flowers here and there. And we're going to fill this guy in a little bit. Placing tulips here and there. Okay, so I'm kind of liking it. I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing it. So I'm going to take the base of this tulip. If you guys can see back here in the back corner, I'm going to dip it in my glue pot and kind of twist it around to get the glue to kind of let go of itself. So I can get a good amount of glue on it. And I'm going to open that, push that bow and just stick that right down there in the center. And after that, you're just basically doing the exact same thing and repeating it times 1,242,000,000. 0.5, whatever, however many little pieces you want to keep adding to it, just keep going. Again, some of my issue is not knowing when to stop, but so far, I do not think that has come, I don't think that's come up as an actual, too much of a problem. So I'm just going to keep adding stuff to it. Tootsie came back to see me. And I'm going to keep just opening these loops and placing stuff right down in there between the loops. And that's basically stating, like, after this point, you're not going to be able to move this bow around too much. I mean, you'll be able to fluff the parts that are wired, but you're not going to be able to do too much placement or changing on it because it's pretty much permanent at this point. You've added these little greenery pieces to it. Here's that leaf that I cut. I'm going to add this in. You also could test it out. Do you like it in this section here? Am I going to place it right here or should I place it down here? I'm going to place it under the tulip. See, I moved it around, tested it out in a few places, and then you'll find out exactly where you like that piece. It looks better underneath this purple tulip than it did coming up out the top. Tiny little things, whatever makes you happy. That kind of, all that jazz. I think I can stick another tulip somewhere over here on that side. Kind of turn him a little bit this way. And anywhere that you think you have a big gap or anything showing through in the loops, start just placing flowers in there. And your piece will start to fill up really quick. I'm going to bring this tail to the back here. I'm going to check this side in a second, see how much more I need to add. If there's anywhere else I need to add more flowers. I kind of put this up under here like that, and then I'll put this loop underneath. So move things up, move them around, kind of test them out, see how you like certain placements. What do we got here? Letty, fourth time's a charm, LOL. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's how that worked out, I guess. Fourth time's a charm. Yeah. Gotta love it. Cutting all these little tiny pieces off. Remember, this this piece looks like this on the stem, right? And you can cut it off and use it this way. We did on this part of the arrangement. But I've taken each one of these little pieces and I cut them off into make these little smaller pieces. And then those smaller pieces are what are really good to use as accents inside your bow. You just take the little pieces you've cut, and you really can't go wrong with using just the same accent just in as a small. You know, you have the same pieces mixed throughout, and it really it adds what you were looking for to which. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right? the words aren't forming very well. I'm getting a little caught up in certain pieces of it. The bow right here is a little smushed. I'm going to pull it more this way. And then also, if your piece isn't hanging right, you can bend it more. I'm going to need to put some more filler under here, probably right there. What can I stick in there? I'll put some light tulips. I got green tulips on there already. I'm going to see how far up there I can glue these in. Yeah, okay, so I got to put those onto the side. I'm gluing this up under the bow onto the side of the floral tape. And then looking through all my little pieces here, guys, what do you think? Do you think I should add some more? And let me show you what we got so far. I'm going to spread things out just a tiny bit down here. Let me show you guys what we have so far. Bend it a little more. I'm going to bring you in for a close-up. Actually, when I'm looking back here, I don't think I need to add, yeah, I just bend that this way. I don't really need to add another flower back here like I did on that other guy. Looking pretty good. Okay, guys, so here, I'm going to bring you up closer to what we have. So here's the front version. Okay. There's the sides. So this is the side you'd look at when you're coming up on the side that I have it on. This is the side of the lantern itself. Okay. There's the front of your lantern. So you want to make sure things don't interfere too much, and you can still open the door, mess with your whatever you have in there, and close it. So that still works. Here's the other side that's basically naked, but you still have a really pretty bow. You've got the back side of the top, so you can still see this portion of it. Okay, and then here's what you would call the back of the piece. So your ribbons and your ribbon tails will cover most of whatever your behind the scenes are on this side, and then you can always move this since it's wired. You can put the little ribbon like ripples in them if you want. You can always like adjust your loop on this side. I actually think I might want to put some white flower right there. Let's see what I got going on here. I don't want to put a whole one in there, but I think I might put some white flowers right in there like that. So, found a little hole. We're going to fill it in 5 seconds. A little bit of accent here, no biggie. Just going to place that in there and then fluff that like that. That's the back of the piece. So you can still see where you've tied on the ribbon here. Okay. There's your corner. And then your side. That's basically what it is. You know, I did have that little hiccup. I did my little, the middle piece was a little bit too long. So that kind of like stretched it out a little bit for you guys, a little bit longer than I wanted to take today. But what do you guys think? Should I put more on it, or do you actually want to see me put the leaves on the back of it? What do you guys want to see? Let me see what it says here. What are you using to fasten the little pieces? The little pieces that I've been sticking in the bow here, Sonia, I've just been taking them and gluing them. It's just dipping them in the hot glue skillet over there, you can see, and then I put them back into the bow here. That's all I've been doing with them. Let's see. I'm getting lots of hearts, you guys. Thanks so much. I love that. Thanks so much. You guys like it. Perfect. Jaden says, you have a gift. Thank you. I appreciate that. I got it from my grandma. Love the colors. Beautiful. Can you show us the other swag you made after this? Oh, you want to see the... Yes, absolutely. I can show you this. So here's the one we just finished, and I'm going to get the yellow one. This one was the Easter one that I made last year. So that one has burlap on it. And you can see it's much smaller. It doesn't come down so far. It's not as big of a piece. Comes and sticks up a lot more to the top. It also might be where I've tied it. I tied this to the top of this lantern up here. You could tie it down here on this piece here. So like I said, every lantern is different, right? And there's that one. It's got some eggs in it. It's a little Easter egg, some eggs up here. Hydrangea, about 4 different bows. Some daisies. Oh, that's not a daisy. I don't know what that is. That's just a different type of flower. So there's that one. And I'll show you what it looks like on a different lantern. Okay. So here's this guy here. So I'm just going to untie him off of this guy. Okay. And that's tied on. If you guys missed it earlier, I showed you the back of it. That's the back of it. What I do is I cover all of it. Even after we did the floral tape and everything, you take it back off, and we're going to cover the back with leaves so you can't see anything. I just don't know if you guys want to sit through there and watch all that. You guys let me know. Do you really want to watch me glue leaves to the back of it? You guys let me know in the comments. So here's different style lantern that I have. Now you see I'm going to tie it on this piece. I'm not going to tie it up here at the top. I'm going to tie it right here. It's a bit thicker on the base. And you'll see it gives it a little bit different. It's universal, but it looks a little bit different because this is a different different style, shape lantern. But they're all universal. You can put them on absolutely any lantern you have. Okay, guys? So there. All I did was tie it onto a different lantern, and it's a different feel. You see? This lantern doesn't have a top, or I mean a front or a back, because it opens on the top. So this lantern is something like, you can see here, I'll just twist it. There's the top. You open it like this. And that's how you get to your pieces in this type of lantern. Okay? So, all different style lanterns. It's pretty universal. There's that piece on that one. I don't have another lantern this size. I have a really huge one in my living room, but this size is that's about how big, and this is a normal average size that I normally make for a smaller lantern. I've never made one this size before. So you guys tell me. I'm going to take a look at your comments. Tell me what you want. Patty Allen, yes, a little ivy would be very pretty and a little bit more green. Tina, you want to see the leaves. Annette, you want to see the leaves. Thank you so much for all the wonderful instruction. The swag is gorgeous. Hope to make one soon. Yes, Letty, if you do, send me pictures. I'd love to see it. Yes, please want to see the leaves. Beautiful. How do you pack the swag to ship? I place it in a box with tissue paper, bubble wrap, and a lot of supporting crushed up paper. Usually, the people that have received my things that have ordered from me have said that usually they'll get to them without even a ribbon being messed up, which is kind of awesome because you always expect the ribbons to get a little bit messed up. Half the time I'm looking at things, I see them, at least when I get them, it looks like UPS or FedEx or whatever has basically played soccer with them. So here we go, guys. We're going to smush this a little bit, but that's okay. You're going to lay it flat. I'm going to take my tying ribbons and get those up out of the way, because we need to cover up all this nasty stuff. So you guys have seen this, my little behind the scenes. These are all of the every stem, bush, pieces, bundle, whatever you buy. I saved all of the ribbon. I mean, you're saving all of the leaves off of it, right? And a lot of them are actually, I'm an organization freak. I'll keep them stacked together. It's like this. These came off of a hydrangea bush that I had. And basically I'm keeping some of the smaller ones are more just for accents, and I can place those in a piece or in a bow, especially like something tiny like that. But I keep these larger ones here. I've used the floral part of this bush, but these leaves are very large and very big, and they're going to lend a lot of help for me. I don't know if I want to use really bright. I think since this is springy, I'm going to use these brightly colored ones. I got a decent amount here. And all I'm doing is, I tend to end up making this also look like its own little floral arrangement on the back. That's sort of it's sort of just my MO. It's just what I do, guys. Alright, so I need to cover up a little bit going up this way. So all I do is I kind of just place them back here, and I see how they lay and what is actually needed to cover up most of the goods. Alright, so it looks like right here I only need about 4 leaves. So that's not that bad. Now, if you're buying a big bundle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there were 8 leaves on this bundle. I've only used half of it. So I've got more coverage, and that's why I save these guys. I have a little bundle. A little box of that. And they come in handy, because even this, if you have a bow, you're just making a really pretty bow, really simple bow, you can glue this piece into your bow on the side or the bottom or up by the tail or the loop, and it lends just enough pop of color and green, and you didn't have to go out and buy a greenery bush, because those things can be expensive. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to place my bottom one down first, because I kind of still want them to look nicer, you know, on the nicer side. So I'm going to just put glue at the top portion of the leaf here. You see there? I just glued up the top of the leaf. I'm going to lay that right flat down on the back of my piece, and since it's really hot and I can feel it coming through, I'm just going to use this stick, this dowel. It's like my old little used stick. You guys have seen it many times. My little helper, and I'm going to use it to hold that down there for me. And it's still getting me through the leaf there. There we go. Just holding that down. So that way, you know, if you actually do get an angle on this thing, and for some reason, like, the ribbon gets pushed up left or right or whatever, you're still seeing something green and pretty. And it's not like it's just one of the ugly pieces that you get rid of a bush. This is still a very pretty piece. So if you can see, guys, here, let me pick this thing up. Just place that first one down, and I'm going to place the second one right here on top of it, kind of off to the left side of it. And I'm putting glue down the seam of the back of the leaf and pressing that onto the back of all of my stuff. Again, this helps actually, it helps with the placement of your bow. It helps actually helping with the knot that you have for your tie-on piece. Pretty much none of this stuff is going to go anywhere. And then I'm going to put this piece kind of going off to the right, like that. And I'll glue that one down that way. Oh, I got stuck in a little bit of that glue. Not a problem. There we go. And I do this for my wreaths. If there's anything that you want to cover, anything on the back, I do it for my wreaths, my door swags. I have the corner door swags I did for Christmas. I'm not sure if you guys can even see that one up there. Do you see that one right up there? That's the one I did for Christmas. That's on the back of that too. I got wreaths up here. Those are my wreaths for my home for fall. I made those a while ago. But the back of everything has this on it. You can't, I don't really not put this on the back. I cover up everything so you can't see any of the mechanics or I like to say the behind the scenes. You don't want to see the behind the scenes. And then I'm going to put one coming up from the behind the knot, just one coming up right here, and all that is covering up this tiny little piece here, so you can still see You can still see a little bit of floral tape and stuff right here. Where'd my leaf go, guys? You guys see where my leaf went? Oh, here it is. Just has a little bit to cover up here, and then it kind of still looks nice. It's still lending part of the appeal of an arrangement, but it's just covering up the back of the stuff. It's covering up the behind the scenes. And that's it. So then after this, I put it back on my lantern, and then I have to refluff the bow because you've already kind of smushed it a little bit, but that's the name of the game. It's okay. It's part of what happens when you work on the back of a piece. You can't do it at the beginning because you don't have anything to cover up yet. So this isn't something I do until the very last, the very end. Because you need to know exactly how much you need to cover up. All right, guys, and I'll show you a close-up right now. That's basically what the back of it looks like. So if for some reason you happen to get a view of that on the front of your lantern, or on the sides, you're gonna get a picture. You're gonna get a view of a leaf. It's gonna look like part of the arrangement, if you know what I mean. It's not gonna look like it was bare. You're not gonna see a zip tie, pipe cleaner. You're not gonna see floral tape. You're not gonna see any of that ugly stuff you don't want to see. Yeah, and this turned out pretty big. It's a pretty big piece. I'm very happy with its size and epicness, you could say. So just kind of fluff it back out and then tie it back onto the piece you're gonna picture it on, and basically that's what I'm gonna do. I'll take pictures, I'll post them on Facebook, Instagram. You'll see them if you're watching the YouTube video. You'll see them on the playback, stuff like that. Beverly, yes, see the leaves, please. Just love talking with you. Thanks, Beverly. So nice, Beverly. Thank you so much. Love that you change out lantern with the pieces. Yes, so it shows you that you can put them on any lantern. It just shows that you can make it on a certain lantern, but it's good for any size. I mean, some of them, obviously, this would not fit on one of those smaller lanterns. This is a large lantern swag. Those are probably medium small. I don't know that I would make one for a smaller lantern than you guys saw previously. But yeah, these are a really good, decent size. Let me push this up a little bit more. Otherwise, if I missed anything, you guys, while we were working on this, if I missed any of your comments or your little critiques or anything or questions, I'll try to go through. Jaden, I'd like to see you do your eye makeup. Oh my gosh, girl. I can't. Thank you so much. It's just war paint. I don't think about it. I just put it on. But now I'm concentrating on how I look at the camera. Thank you. I appreciate that. A kind of blushing. You have beautiful eyes. Thank you. Just started doing lanterns. Okay, Guadalupe, no problem, because you'll start and you will easily get addicted. It's very, very fun to make them. And if you don't talk as much as I do or mess up the bow placement as much as I do, you can actually make a lot of these pretty quickly. They're good to churn out for tabletop pieces for church, especially since Easter's coming up. There's a lot of Easter dinners and luncheons happening and picnics. These are beautiful for centerpieces at church functions. They'd be really, really great. Or basically any kind of picnic or get together you have at your house, even for your own Easter dinner, if you're having your own family over, that type of thing. Let's see, never thought of covering the back of a project. Jackie, yeah, to me, I just like to make it all look pretty. I don't want you to have to ever see any part of it, whether you're taking it off and storing it. I don't want you to have to ever see any part of it that doesn't look nice. That's just my own personal preference. If you don't have a preference, then don't worry about it, because it's your own piece. You'll be the only one that sees it. You'll be the only one taking it on and off. In my opinion, I like to see greenery and floral on everything. So it's just it's also my way of not having to throw away pretty pieces of things like this, and I can just glue them to the back of a project. You like the idea of concealing the behind the scenes? Perfect. Thanks, Kathleen. Evelyn, weddings. Yes, very good idea. Connie, baby or bridal showers. Yes, you can do. You mean a baby or a bridal shower? You could put those little tiny plastic baby rattles in here, or the little baby bottles. You could put like little tiny, like the little tiny plastic party favors. You could put those inside the bow here. It'd be so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. Yes, that would be really great. Great idea. Beautiful. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. I really love spending this time with you guys. I really missed it last week when I couldn't do a live. My week got away from me, and I knew for sure I was going to definitely get this one in today, and you guys were all asking me for a lantern swag. So keep the requests and the comments coming, and I'll keep you guys posted. I got a lot more stuff. I'm still going to do some Valentine's. I have one St. Patty's Day thing planned. And I also have a new idea with a paper. It's like a book storage thing I'm going to use. Those empty storage pieces you see at Micheals, they're like decorative boxes, but they're shaped like a book. I've got that planned, but that's going to be a YouTube video, guys, because that's going to be pretty detailed. So I'm going to have to cut that one up, and I'll make that on YouTube. But I'll make sure everybody sees it on Facebook and YouTube and all that, so you guys stay tuned. Love all of you guys being here. It's super fun. And until next time, you guys, take care. Bye-bye.